really need to get like an intro, you know? Like, don't be wrong, the little countdown video is nice and all, but an intro would be, I don't know, I'm just spitballing.
Did the intro already play?
Yeah, the intro already played. Are you good, man?
The whole bit I was going to play. Apparently, everybody wants to use my Wi-Fi all over. So, hello there to all you bucket heads, and welcome to all of you leapfrogs. This is another episode of the most disorganized podcast on the internet. Welcome back to Under the Helmet Podcast. Took a week off. We thought, hey, this is gonna be a fun little week. Nothing too crazy is gonna go down. We're gonna take a week off, let things kind of sift for a minute. Andor was kind of slow, and then boom, She-Hulk episode 8 happened. So we will definitely be talking about that. Yes. The chat is asking us to bring on Andrew Taint, and no, we will not, because my Bugatti is better than his. Anyways, let us get into the episode. But before we do, I want to show off this thing I made just before stream. I made a Daredevil baton, completely unrelated to the topic of this episode today.
Yep.
So yeah, completely unrelated. It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. But not only did I make one, I made two.
Ooh.
Ander was not slow. I love this episode of the Ander Bander. Listen, this episode of Ander was a little slow. It's good because it's building up the characters and the conflict, so I don't mind it, but it was definitely a little slow. So, with that being said, I say let's get into Ander first, so that way we can head first into She-Hulk right after this. Mind you, it has almost been a week since I've watched this episode.
I was gonna say it's been a while.
Go ahead and let's put on the Ander banner. Vander already beat me to it.
My guy, you're good. Your Wi-Fi is kind of rough.
It is. I don't even have that many devices on.
Oh.
But okay, so yeah. As long as my audio's okay, everything else is just kind of secondary. Turn my work laptop. Don't mind me in the background here. You can tell this is the disorganized podcast episode because I got caught up making these sticks and completely lost track of time. Oopsie doopsies. But yes, Ander. So this episode I think was super interesting because more than anything we get to see sort of the fracturing of the early rebellion and how like scattered it truly is. Everyone's afraid to get caught. Everyone's like rehearsing the plan to like incredible levels of detail. We got to see a TIE fighter do a flyby and everybody was scared of it. Oh, it was. And what's interesting is that normally we see TIE fighters as these, cannon fodder type vehicles, but to see one actually fly by and like make noise was really cool to see. So that was awesome. And we got to see the training, and we got to see how Cassian sort of picks up on people and how he's able to kind of read people, and he realizes that, hey, these rebels kind of don't know what they're doing. He took over the role as pilot. Excuse me. And then we get, I'm trying to think what else. We get to see Mon Mothma and her husband who ain't anything. A1 Links is in here, so I'm afraid to say a bad word if little ears are watching. If little ears are watching, earmuff. But Mon Mothma's husband, Shiznit, he ain't nothing. He is a deadbeat, and if he's not careful, he will get deadbeat by these sticks in my hands. Give him a bopping. You treat your wife better than that.
Oh, no, sweet. She's asleep.
Okay, good.
We can say the fuck word.
I can say shit. Great. Yeah. Her husband ain't shit. I could do better. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mom Mothma, call me. May take a minute. My internet's slow, but listen, I'll do you right.
Oh, it is 1:30 a.m. I forgot.
Yeah, I knew that, but I just wanted to like make sure
I
before I
forget
said anything.
sometimes that our friends are from overseas.
I know, right? It's one of those things that like half of my friends like in England. It's wild.
It's so rough because like I want to hang out with y'all because you do amazing cosplaying and photography. And like I want to get involved with that, but I can't because you're across an ocean. So
Oh
shout
my
out,
gosh, I know. I've
we're
met
way too
that's one
far
of
away.
the downsides of internet friends is that you meet so many cool people and it's like, dang, this person's really cool. I would love to hang out with them. And it's like, oh, but they live in England. Or
Yeah.
oh, they live across the country. Or oh, they live up north.
Shout out to Charlie for
Yep,
just being their wonderful self. We love you very much. We loved having you on for the 3 episodes that you blessed us with, and we can't wait to have you back.
absolutely. Shout out to all our friends across the pond. Nick, Lauren. I could go on. I've met so many
I
cool
mean, we
people.
really could.
Shout out shout out to Natasha and her amazing father. You guys are all amazing. But
Mm-hmm.
like it's so tough seeing all these cool people overseas. I mean, I'm interested to see what will happen when I go to England one
Mm-hmm.
day because it's on my list now. I have it's a
I,
must. It's a must.
I'm sorry, Sidekick Red is ever bringing in the.
I just watched a Peter Griffin themed quickscope montage. Under the Helmet is international. Yes, we are. We are in fact a international podcast.
We
We
are an
are a
international.
we are a transcontinental international podcast. We span the entirety of the U.S. continent. Because I think, do we have a? Actually, no, we're not transcontinental yet. Because all of our guests, I think, have been East Coast. Oh, absolutely. We will definitely hit you guys up. Yeah,
Oh,
all of our guests
absolutely.
have been East Coast.
I
So
do plan to
anybody
make my
on the
way.
West Coast, if we have
Sorry.
any West Coast bucket heads, hit us up. We'll have you on for a Worlds Collide episode so we can say we're transcontinental as
I
well
do
as
have a
international.
couple. I have a couple Disney Bounder friends who might want to come on for an episode. That would be kind of fun.
Oh, that would be fun. I'd love to do an episode on Disney bounding.
Yeah, because that's Gabby's big thing. I got into it a little bit while I was at Disney, and it was. I mean, it's a blast. It's like cosplaying, but you just kind of do it casually. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna
Under
be
the
cool.
Helmet, the British invasion,
Yeah.
reverse and Under the Helmet, the reverse colonization special.
On Columbus Day? No, just kidding. We don't call it that anymore. It's Indigenous Peoples Day, and I
Yep,
called it that all day yesterday.
we are not
Because
celebrating a murderer.
no,
Oh, where are the Supreme Leader Eli? Oh, that's a good question. Next question. Side note: not only are we an internationally recognized podcast, we have connections within the government.
oh, you guys like
That's
actual shield badges? That's sick.
this is an actual shield badge, and once you watch the show, you get one. Sita, yours is coming. I just didn't have the funds at the time. Callahan has his, so
Keep an ear out for that. At least my
yeah,
internet's getting better. Under the Helmet
yeah,
European tour.
I am down for that.
Hey, listen, don't threaten me with a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Get
That
to go
sounds like an
around the
amazing time.
Union of Europeans. Can't wait.
Uh, but anyway, tonight's
Let's get
episode
back to
is not
Andor
about.
because yeah. Also, this episode was interesting to me is because it is, if not outright stated, incredibly implied that the two ladies in our group of rebels, they kiss. They are lady lovers, and I dig that. I really do.
I dig that. I missed that.
Yeah. I think it was in the line of like, she shares a tent with her or something like that, and it's like, oh,
I gotcha.
okay. Dylan, were you
Oh,
affected by the hurricane at all? Apparently, I thought I was fine, but apparently it fucked my Wi-Fi up.
oh, well, no, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it took down
Nah,
a
I
tower
mean,
near you. I don't know.
it it actually might have. I don't think it did, because we weren't direct hit, but it was one of those things where it was like
He froze.
it down. For those who aren't aware, I live in one of the areas affected by the hurricane. Not gonna say where, although I did kind of dox myself on TikTok the other day and Instagram,
Yeah,
but it's all good.
yeah. We won't talk about it.
It's all good. Well, the area I live in is big enough to where it's hard to narrow down exactly where I live, so
Mhm.
that helps. But
Yeah,
yeah, don't.
once you start going to cons, it gets a little bit more obvious where you're around. But
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I have gone to all of the cons in my area, except for the one that's literally named after the city. So, which I'm going to in November. I haven't decided the cosplay yet, but Sidekick Red, I'm outside your house. Then you're in the wrong place. I live in an apartment complex. Checkmate. Oh God, I am out of it tonight. All right, let's get back to Ander because I want to kind of blitz this episode. So we get to see Cyril eating cereal, which I thought was cool.
yep, Star Wars cereal.
Yes, not only was it Star Wars cereal, but after the episode, I saw this on Instagram. Star Wars actually released a video on how to make, like, you ever see those like Rice Krispie treat style like foods?
Mm-hmm.
So they released how to make like Rice Krispie treats, but it's like Cyril's breakfast bars or something like that. Yeah, Cyril's eating cereal. Try saying that 10 times fast. Cyril's eating cereal, especially with my accent. Dear God.
Oh boy, that's gonna be tough for you.
Cyril's eating cereal.
Cereal.
You mean it's not called Cyril?
Also, Callahan did text me a photo. He's got his school ID in his Shield wallet, which I wanted to use as my wallet, but it does not have enough spaces for all the cards that I have in there.
Dang,
I
you
do
like
need a new
balling like
wallet,
that.
as my current one is an 11-year-old Iron Man wallet that is falling apart.
The fact that you have a wallet that lasted 11 years is great. I think the most I made a wallet last was 3. I had one like all through later high school, and by the end of it, it was falling apart so bad. Somebody begged me to get a new wallet, and they like gave it to me and said, "You shouldn't use this anymore." And I was like, "But I like it." And they were like, "No, it's literally hanging together by a thread." And then I kept it for a while after that, just sort of out of spite. And I was like, "I'm gonna use this one day when you're not paying attention." And then I realized, dang, it is kind of like falling apart. But yeah, speaking of falling apart, the rebels in Andor, they'd be falling apart. Their group be splintering a little bit. We've got the
Yeah,
older gentleman who's super suspicious of Cassian,
yeah.
and we've also got the younger guy who personally I really like. He's the true believer. He's been writing a manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
My boy reads theory. You already know he's gonna die. I'm
Oh
calling
yeah.
it. That
I'm
man
not
is
gonna
dead.
lie. Like
That man is that man
the
is
second we
blast
met
bolt
him,
to the
I was
chest,
like,
rolling over
oh,
dead.
ooh, you die. That's
They are
so rough
setting
for
him up
you.
so hard to die. And then so also get to see Luthen, and we got a couple more shots of his shop. Nothing new,
Mm-hmm.
but we do get a better view of the 2 holocrons behind him, and we do see that they are in fact holocrons.
Yes. Oh no, that would track because this is a very gritty series. It's very likely we lose a good portion of our team.
I think so too. I think a lot of people are gonna die. I think everybody except Cassian. I'm just kidding. I think more than Cassian will die. But
Throwback to sorry, somewhat related. Throwback to the time when I was like, oh, Infinity War's coming out. I'm going to create a Deadpool, which is where I had a little bracket and everybody could place bets on how many people would die. And we had a couple people, place here, there, and whatnot. My little brother bet everyone would die, and you got a point for every person that stayed alive and every person that died. He was the only person who was closest because half of everyone died. And so after I saw the movie, I slammed the money on the table and I was like, you win. Because I was still really, really sad about it.
I was too. I remember leaving that theater just in utter shock.
I was
But
sobbing.
speaking of utter shock, we see Mon Mothma's daughter this episode.
We do, and she
is pure teenage angst.
It hurt. It hurt. Secondhand hurt.
Also, I feel like her daughter listens to like My Chemical Romance. She has to. I think I chose almost everyone who didn't get Dusty. Of course,
Yeah.
Callahan, because you're like me. I would have that bad luck of like, oh, Deadpool, no one's gonna die. It's a Marvel movie, and then, oh, I don't feel so good. Surprise.
I do remember just how much it hurt back when I first saw it, of everybody going around doing the Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Oh, that
was a thing.
I mean, it wrenched my fucking heart out. Through my chest.
What else did we see in Andor? Oh, we got to see the Empire sort of taking over on the planet that Cassian used to live on.
Ferrex.
Yep, Ferrex. How they come in. We see Cyril getting set up to go work with his uncle.
Yeah, Uncle
Harlow.
Harlow.
He'd be eating that cereal. Cyril, I have to say, I don't like him, but I relate to him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those characters that you're not meant to like, but you're meant to relate with them and understand, like, hey, maybe he only licks boots because his mom kind of forced him in that direction. And you know what? I get it. I get it, man. And there's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cameo. Where?
So, fun fact, one of the actors from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in this episode.
Who?
I forget, but Callahan's going to tell you.
Yeah, Callahan. Who's the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cameo? Because, yeah, I'm trying to think what else we can really say about Andor that, I'm trying to think who else. Try to get out. But, yeah, so it looks like tomorrow we get to actually see the mission take place. And I think the other real thing that happens is that the older guy finds out that Cassian's getting paid, and and Cassian's like, "Yeah, I'm about the money. I'm not here for your cause. I don't care. I'm trying to get my bag up." And you know what? Respect. Andrew. Respect. I respect the grind set. But yeah, so I'm very excited to see where it goes. We also see that Imperial chick is very much on the hunt. So it's Corporal
Kimsey is who our Shield Axer is.
Oh, was that the guy in the that was the guy that was like overlooking the valley or something?
Could be.
But yeah, I think this show really benefited from the people who said about Rogue One. I never really got a chance to care about these characters, so when they died, I didn't feel anything. Well, this show is making sure it takes the time to make sure you feel something about these characters before absolutely butchering them.
Oh, yeah.
So, thanks, Andor. Very cool.
Thank you, Andor. Enjoying having my heartstrings ripped out.
Yep. So, with that being said, I think that pretty much covers Andor. It was a very build up the characters type episode. It wasn't really a like meaty thing that we could jump into, like He Who Shall Not Be Named's armor, or like all the stuff in Luthen's shop. But we also do see that his assistant is just as much a part of the rebellion as he is. So,
Mm-hmm.
and also we get to see Mon Mothma looking absolutely stunning. So, I mean, that's a win in its own.
That is a win. That is a big win.
But yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. I think it's going to be a good episode. Now, let us touch on two more things that dropped before we get into Big Green Lady show. Because there were
Hmm.
two other big releases on Disney
Oh.
Plus that I want to touch on. So
We're not.
first
We're not
of
talking about
which,
Werewolf by Night.
well,
We're gonna
so
preface this
hold
with
on.
that.
That's where the tease is coming in. So Werewolf by Night dropped on Friday. I made a post about it on Instagram because I genuinely forgot it was coming. So follow. Also, I didn't do the plug. Look at me. While you're here, if you've made it 20 minutes into this video, you must think, hey, I really like these guys. They're absolutely dog shit and chaotic. I love it. So, since you love us so much to make it 21 minutes and 30 seconds into the video, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, share, subscribe, and of course, join our Discord and follow us on Instagram. So that way you get all the updates. Because I have to say, we posted a reel today that I made,
Mhm.
and I was very proud of that reel. I worked hard
I
on it.
enjoyed that reel.
It was. I was very proud of that one. So if you haven't seen it yet, go to the Instagram or you get hit bonked with the devil stick. Bonk. That's your sign to go do it.
Watch
Also,
it.
so now let's go ahead and talk Werewolf by Night. So Werewolf by Night came out. Eli has seen it. I have not. So
Not
what
only
we've
have I
decided
seen
to
it,
do.
Callahan and I got to watch it together.
All right. So with that being said, since I have not seen it, we talked about this earlier, but I wanted to announce it on the show. So we are going to make next Tuesday's episode fully about Werewolf by Night. So we won't talk about it tonight, but next Tuesday is Werewolf by Night. So be ready.
I did hold this man at Icer Point and was like, "We are doing a Werewolf by Night episode."
And I was like, why are you holding me at that point? I'm obviously going to say yes.
Given that there's currently nothing on the calendar.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll be updating the calendar soon.
We will be. We'll have a team meeting. We'll have a powwow.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that dropped, Hocus Pocus 2 dropped. I've
Oh
seen the
shoot! I have
original.
not.
I've seen the
haven't seen
original
the
like maybe
original.
once, so I cannot comment on either of them. I've seen the original maybe once, and I don't remember if I fell asleep during it or not. So a lot of people were very excited for it. It didn't really do anything for me, so I haven't seen it. But if you guys want to see us talk about Hocus Pocus 2, because you got to think, we've got Halloween movies to talk about. It's October, it's spooky month. So, if you want us to talk about spooky stuff, comment below what movies we will do a review on. What's going on, Thomas Wayne? Don't go in that alleyway.
What?
There's a guy in the comments
Oh
named
shoot!
Thomas
We
Wayne.
do have someone named Thomas. Hey, all right. I'm always down for new people dropping in chat. We appreciate you
Hello
coming
there.
by.
Don't go in the alleyway, whatever you do. And tell Martha to tuck her freaking pearls. I'm just saying. Anyways.
Anyway.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. News and rumors. We got a trailer for it. Just kidding. We get to talk finally about the Big Green Lady show. Because not only did we see the Big Green Lady, we also saw our horny boy in more ways than one. That is right. This episode saw the well-awaited, highly anticipated, much bitched about return of Matthew Murdock, aka Daredevil, aka the reason I made these sticks, because yes, I have a closet cosplay coming together very shortly, because I made a video about Daredevil that got 20K views on TikTok, and the last Anakin video I posted quite literally got less than 100 views. So thanks, TikTok algorithm. I know what I need to do now. Transition to a Marvel chat page.
Oh. Okay, but I love the Anakin though. I love the Anakin.
I do. It does look, it is a good cosplay, and I will definitely be filming more Anakin. It's just the problem was I thought of all of the videos ideas before I had the costume, and then as soon as I got them, they all went poof, gone.
Oh.
But that is life. So now, She-Hulk, we see that she is representing Leapfrog up against the guy who makes clothes, the drip broker, whose name
Luke
I cannot remember.
Jacobson. His
Luke
name is Luke
Jacobson, right.
Jacobson.
I
Put some
wanted to
credit
call
on
him
his
Edna.
name.
I
You
wanted
can
to call
him
him Edna mode. Yeah. MCU Edna, but MCU Edna calls in the big guns. He brought out Matthew Murdock, the man, the myth, the legend. And also, I love the fact that he perfectly translated from the Daredevil show. Like, I don't think you can convince me it's not the same character. Especially, it's like, oh, but he was making jokes and all that. You got to think. So, at this point
Yes,
in
he
the
wasn't
MCU timeline,
depressed.
yes, at this point in
He's
the
at a
MCU timeline, it has been, you know, what, at least, almost 10 years since the end of the Daredevil show. So what that means is Matt had time to mellow out. Not to mention, when the show ended, Matt was in a lot better place. Also, you're acting like the Daredevil show Daredevil didn't make jokes. That dude he wasn't like cracking quips all the time, but neither was this one. Like, the most obvious quip was like, my ass remains unwhooped, but like,
I love that
come
line
on.
though. I
Come
thoroughly
on.
enjoyed that
That
line.
was funny.
It was funny.
That was funny. He had some espresso and he wasn't depresso.
Yep.
That was a good one, Callahan. That was a good one. But yeah, so we got to see Matt Murdock come back. Our boy. I couldn't have been happier. Also,
I mean, for God's sake, he was on vacation. Who's gonna be intentionally depressed on vacation?
Exactly. Not to mention, he showed up. He got dripped out. I can just imagine like him coming to pick up his suit. It's been like, "Thank you, Luke. I've been waiting for this suit." And he goes, "And one more thing, darling. Before you go, can you like represent me in court? I'm getting sued." And Matt's just like, "Well, I mean, I'll think about it." And he goes, "Yeah, but they're gonna ask me to reveal people's identities." And Matt's like, "I'm there. I'm sold. You had me at reveal identities."
You had me at oh no.
My man, especially when she said that in court too. Like, Charlie Cox played that scene perfectly because you could feel the anxiety coming from him. Like, remember, the Sokovia Accords have been revoked. So shout out
that
to
was
Sokovia
interesting.
Accords
There
for
was so
getting
much that was
revoked.
dropped this episode.
I've been Team Cap all along, bitches. So I was always right.
Okay. Anyway, the Sokovia Accords have been repealed. That's interesting news because I feel like that plot point hadn't been talked about in years.
Yes.
Like,
also,
Hydra.
I wonder when it was repealed. I think it was repealed at some point between No Way Home or no, like the beginning of No Way Home to now. And the reason I say that is because part of the reason they were holding Spider-Man was because of Sokovia Accords.
It was?
I think so.
I thought that was just because everybody thought that he destroyed the Tower Bridge and killed Mysterio.
Maybe. I think so, actually. Yeah, you're right. But I feel like they would have used the Sokovia Accords as like a justification of that.
Maybe because those were the same damage control guys that we saw in Ms. Marvel. Some of
Absolutely.
them. Like the guy who was interrogating him was the one who called off the crazy, like, racist lady.
Exactly. So with that, we see Sokovia Accords have in fact been repealed. So superheroes don't have to publicly state their identities. So that's why you can have characters like Spider-Man and Daredevil and yeah, that Spider-Man guy. I wonder who he is under that mask.
I wonder who's under there.
I guess we'll never know. But then again, like it does Sokovia Courts have always raised a very interesting question when it comes to the MCU. Like,
Mhm.
who's gonna go try to arrest Doctor Strange? Like or Wong.
Can you imagine the SWAT raid on the Sanctum Sanctorum and just how chaotic that would be? Like,
So literally I've already thought of like 3 different ways that they can defend the place without killing them. Without killing anybody.
mhm. I mean, like,
And
you
just think
walk
if they
in the
actually wanted
door.
to kill people.
Oh God.
So first off, Wong's running around the open area up front, and he's yelling, "Fortify your minds!" And then they open a portal. The door opens. The SWAT team runs in. They go through the portal and back out into their office, or
Oh,
even
I
better,
was thinking
just
send him to the tundra.
no, back out to the street. No, they don't want to kill him. I'm talking about non-lethal, like not killing. Secondly, they just trap them in the mirror dimension until they void the warrant.
I do think a comic about, Home Alone, but it is the Sanctum Sanctorum would be absolutely hilarious. Strange Alone. There we go.
He'd solo. Anyways,
He would, especially if
so
it's Strange Supreme. What was his name from What If? Was it Strange Supreme?
yeah, Strange Supreme.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that man is a
That man,
menace.
he truly is. But he had one of the best episodes of What If, and I
That
say
he
that
did.
being an active Peggy Carter simp. Anyway,
We know I love Marvel Zombies.
it's getting its
That
own
was a good
show.
episode.
It's getting its own
I
show.
know, right? Can't wait.
Good. Oh.
But yes, anyways, so then we get to see that She-Hulk's client is Leapfrog, and the reason he is suing is because he put the
He
wrong fuel in his rocket boots, but didn't want to tell anybody. So yeah, what's funny to me is that people wanted to analyze that like it was a regular in a real life courtroom. They would have disclosed all that information before, or he could have been held in contempt. I'm like, yes, but this is a superhero show.
with
It's got a
superhero.
big green lady who's a lawyer.
We might want to hold off on that. That was rough.
Sorry about that.
Oh.
I can't do like a past noise warning, but noise warning. It has a blind man doing acrobatic flips. One of the witnesses in one of the cases does magic. There is a girl who's named Madison with 2 N's and 1 Y, but it's not where you think. And she's Mephisto.
God, that theory.
I'm gonna rip it and pull up Callahan's comment. That's great. He says, "I'm gonna rip it and rip it if Dylan does that again."
Callahan Leapfrog cosplay 1.
Yeah, Callahan. I'm waiting.
Holds baton menacingly. It's funny. I actually have a cosplay from the show planned as well.
Well, I got dibs on Matt Murdock. Why
I know.
you being blatantly misdirecting? Because Thomas Wayne, that is what we do here on Under the Helmet podcast. We are very disorganized. If I ever do Endor, after I do Endor Han, that would be great. I'd love to see an Endor Han.
I do want
from
to
you,
see the
Callahan.
Callahan Endor Han.
Can you guys cosplay a taint? No, because
Absolutely
I
not.
have too much hair.
No, because I have morals. Anyway.
I mean, only if I did it, I would dress. If I did, for any reason, do that though, I would dress like incredibly like slutty, and I would like walk as like effeminate as possible. Not that there's anything wrong with like being effeminate,
Mhm.
but he would hate it, and therefore
He
I would love
would.
it.
Anything to bring
Absolutely.
this man suffering.
Absolutely. Anyways, let us move on to
The fight.
seeing the actual scenes with Daredevil, because She-Hulk gets to pull out her costume finally, and I do have to say, it looks good. Eli could do Napoleon Dynamite. I
That's not
totally
what
see
I've
it.
ever been recommended. Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, I've never really gotten that one. For one,
I've never seen it. Maybe the glasses. I don't know.
my hair is way too straight for that. Yeah, I
I
mean, don't
mean,
get me wrong. I got some big glasses. But
anywho, let's get back to the conversation at hand here. We get to see Daredevil's new suit, and we talked about this previously. It's one of the few things we talked about before show was Daredevil's new suit. And I have to say, when I first saw it, because Marvel had to release the trailer ahead of time for everybody to bitch and moan and complain and build out hype. It's all good, Marvel. We get it.
I will
But
say they did market this very well.
they did, because they
They
knew
knew
that's
what
what
they were
everybody was
doing.
waiting for. That's why they made it the second to last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing genius. Good for them. But anyway, so what's funny to me is that when I first saw the costume, I was kind of like, not really sold on the yellow. Yeah, the ketchup and mustard scheme. I was a lot more of a fan of the TV show suit, but I do have to say, after this episode and seeing it in the daylight, really makes a difference. I think the lighting in this episode really did a good job with highlighting the suit and highlighting how good it is.
Yeah. I think
Also, if it's not just me, I think the CG in this episode was actually, for like She-Hulk and stuff, was really good too.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a good judge of CG because
I'm
I
not either.
I
The
don't have a
past
good
few
eye for it.
episodes, so I think this show sort of is taking the what I'll say the Legends of Tomorrow approach. And one of the things Legends of Tomorrow did is, because it had a limited budget, they were very cautious with what superpowers they used and when. So like they had the guy that turned to steel, but he would only turn to steel at certain times.
Mm.
So like in a situation where like he would turn to steel, but the budget couldn't handle it, they
Mhm.
would make a joke out of it, like how they did in the wedding episode where she was like, "Oh, I guess I'm too drunk, I can't turn," or something like that. Like
Mhm.
that is a Legend of Tomorrow type bit. They would have done something like that, and I'm here for it. But I think this show they kind of burnt. They kind of front loaded the bad CGI, so later episodes could really do it. Like at the gala, she looked amazing.
Oh
Like she
yeah.
looked amazing, like all through this episode, and you
Hmm.
know, so shout out to Marvel, shout out to the VFX people. You guys worked your asses off. It's not a critique of the VFX people. Her fourth wall break before the gala scene was 1,000% accurate TV commentary. A lot of shows towards the end of the season will end an episode somewhat premature. That is true. No, that's one thing about this show is that people don't understand is that it is a commentary show as much as it. Yeah, this show has much more commentary than other Marvel shows, and I don't think people are used to that.
No. Well, because she's our second character within the MCU to break the fourth wall. The first being Deadpool, who is now officially in the MCU. I'm very excited
Well,
about that.
actually, first character in the MCU to break the fourth wall is Wanda Maximoff in WandaVision.
How you mean?
Because she said in the episode where it reveals Agatha, where she's like, I'm fine," and she's kind of like laughing, and she's like, "No, I'm not fine."
Oh, right. I forgot that
Yeah,
they did the episode where they Yeah.
Yep. WandaVision was the first one to break the fourth wall in the MCU particular.
I don't know that I really counted that, but
It counts.
okay.
It's the first one, and then She-Hulk does it. And what's interesting is that there's another character as well that breaks the fourth wall in a very subtle way, but it is there. Her assistant,
Nikki?
Nikki. Yeah, Nikki breaks the fourth wall.
Saying more things
So
right now.
there is in the episode where they find out about intelligentsia.
Oh yeah.
She's looking at the computer, and then she looks at the camera and kind of like, and then looks right back. She doesn't say anything, but she gives the camera a look.
Interesting.
So people have been theorizing that maybe, just maybe, she is either a magic user or she's related to Agatha in some way.
Whoa. What?
Marvel theories go wild.
They really do. I feel like that was a little bit of
that's where you're all wrong. I'm calling it now. Nikki is in fact Mephisto.
I was waiting for someone to bring up Mephisto.
Because I brought up Mephisto earlier.
I know. But in relation to this,
also,
when
if
you
you
mentioned
notice in the
magic
back
user,
corner of my room, you can see that when I hold my stick like this, I'm so doing this wrong. There, when I hold my stick like that, I'm so butchering this bit right here. It makes a triangle. Look, see? It makes a triangle. And you know what triangles are close to? Hexagons. And you know what hexagons are? Shapes. You know who else shapes reality? Mephisto. Mephisto confirmed on Under the Helmet podcast.
I am gonna end this stream early.
All right. Anyways, so let's go ahead, blitz through the rest of this episode because we see Daredevil, She-Hulk fighting together. That was really cool. We got to see what's really interesting is that for years people have said that like a loud clapping noise or like sonic attacks would mess with Daredevil's radar sense, and we actually see that in this episode. When She-Hulk does the
kaboom,
you can hear him like crying out in pain. And I actually think in the background, if you listen close enough, you can actually hear like a little bit of a ringing.
You can also hear the Daredevil theme because the Daredevil theme plays right after that, which is kind of lit. I like that a lot.
That was awesome. No, I was very happy to see Daredevil come back in this episode.
We got a Daredevil theme. We got another Daredevil hallway scene, which was awesome. Did.
And I do have to say, when that happened, at first I was like, oh, and then I went, wait, that's the joke. That's funny. Because I had this thing called media literacy, and I can understand what they're going for. And that was the joke of that scene was, oh, they're setting him up for this big hallway fight scene. And then they didn't. That's the joke. Your expectations were set up, and then they were subverted. Surprise.
I will say, the hallway scene that we got to see was still pretty cool.
Nah, he kicked ass.
He kicked some serious ass. Oh.
Shout out to the tadpoles. They were just about that money.
Yeah. And we'll get to Matt's walk of shame. I don't think there was an ounce of shame in that man in that walk, though.
No. You see, I don't know who said it first, but I will give a full shout out to one of the TikTok commenters who said that was not a walk of shame. That was a strut of confidence. But for those of you who aren't aware, after catching Leapfrog, and because he tried to rip it out of the window, but fucked himself up because he kidnapped Luke.
He ripped his freaking ligaments in his leg.
ripped his ligaments. That's funny. But yes. So then we get to see what is probably one of my favorite things to happen in this show.
Mhm.
Daredevil and She-Hulk hang out, and when they did the nudge, I was like, okay,
Okay.
I like
Okay.
it.
I like it.
And then
It's
it kept
good.
going, and the camera kept rolling, and then they went back to Jen's house, and
And
then
then super suits started coming off.
and
And
also I messaged Eli after it happened. I do have to make one correction,
I
and
know.
I said something to him about how I don't think Matt took his helmet off, which means that the helmet stays on during intercourse. But I
Dylan,
actually
we are
saw it.
45 minutes in.
I saw it in a dare. Oh yeah, but no, I saw an edit where you actually do see Matt take his helmet off.
You do.
So
Dare Hulk? She Devil?
I'm just going to Hulk Devil,
Hulk Devil.
She Devil.
Whatever it is, I like it a lot, and I want to see more of it because they're currently my favorite pairing in the MCU. I absolutely loved Jen and
So
Matt's interactions.
what happened next was they went into the bedroom and he blew her back out. Plain and
Nah,
simple.
he got Hulk smashed.
N- It depends. Cause I will ask actually that's the thing is that I think I would say that they just had sex. Because one of the key indicators of who is the this is something that I've joked about with my friends, but I don't know if it's 100% true, but I think so. So if you're wearing socks, you're the one that's doing the fucking. And if you notice, this is in the episode. This isn't me pointing it out. It was there. We do in fact see a shot of their feet,
Why
and
did I know you
neither
would
of
do
them are
this?
wearing socks.
Why did I know you would do this? Dylan,
It
why
was
are you
in the
wearing your
episode.
sock?
The camera panned to their feet, man. It's not my fault on this one.
Why are you
It,
wearing socks when you fuck?
oh, hey, I know we're caught up in the heat of the moment of it all. Let me just take my socks off real quick.
You're already taking everything else off.
Nah, see, that's where you're wrong. When I do it, I put them on
Okay.
it's to establish dominance.
Rolling things back, one thing I do want to talk about with Matt and Jen's interactions is that the second that Jen realizes that it's Matt, she shifts back from She-Hulk to Jen.
Yeah,
And she does that when they're on the rooftop. And it's because she feels comfortable as Jen around him. And I really liked that small detail.
I
Like
do too.
it's
Because
such a
Matt is
big
somebody
thing.
and it's true that Matt is somebody who appreciates Jen and She-Hulk,
Hmm.
both sides of her. I
Unlike
want to
Josh,
revisit.
we are a Josh hate account. Fuck Josh.
Absolutely, fuck that guy.
Fuck
Beat his
Josh.
ass.
Fuck Todd. Honestly.
Oh
Like,
yeah, Todd shows up in this episode. He gets a Wakandan spear. Um,
yeah,
listen, if I saw a theory that he might be the main villain.
I don't think he's the main villain. I do think he
Well,
works for the main villain.
okay, yeah, I could see that. But what
Do
I
you
think
want
is
to hear my
interesting is
theory?
that he has the vibranium spear, and if he still has it, I would personally really like to see Okoye or one of the Dora Milaje pull up, beat his fucking ass, take the spear, and leave.
That would be kind of lit. My
Because here's the thing
theory.
about that. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Mm,
what is the Dora Milaje member? I cannot remember her name right now. Say to Bucky.
Nakia?
It might no, Nakia's T'Challa's girl. Um,
Oh no, I'm
regardless,
sorry. I was looking at the Black Panther 2 Lego sets earlier today, and she's in
I
them.
gotcha, I gotcha. No,
Yeah,
they got some cool sets. Not gonna lie,
they
we'll
do.
get to
They
that.
do. They
But
do.
yes, there's one thing that's really interesting is that she says the Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever they find themselves.
Yep. International
So
jurisdiction, and that's pretty cool. You know who else has international jurisdiction?
Captain America.
This shit right here. Anyway, I'm very proud of this badge, if you could not tell.
Anyways, so yeah. Matt Murdock and She-Hulk have the sex. And Matt does a strut of confidence out of there, carrying his shoes like an absolute goat. We love to see it. We love to see City Boys staying on top as always. But also this is a thing that reminded me of one of my favorite. I can't remember if it was a tweet or a Tumblr post. Doesn't matter. I'm going to say it here. Matt Murdock cries before sex. Matt Murdock cries after sex, but he
But
never
not
cries
during
sex because he
he
has
has
a
a
job to do.
fucking job to do.
And he is going to deliver. So shout out to whoever said that. If you're the OG person and you're watching our show for some reason, comment down below. We will
I
give
was
you
gonna
props.
say, if it's one of our two people, I'll take it.
Or anybody who
Hell
watches
yeah.
the show afterwards, because we love our post watchers.
We do love our post watchers. You guys are a big part of the base, and we love you
do.
guys very much.
We do. I do love the fact that our subscriber count actually has been going up. We were at the
Really?
English is my first language, and I can barely speak it. But yes. So we do have 57 subscribers now. So
Ooh.
thank you to number 56 and 57. You guys are cool. If you're watching this, leave a comment down below and just say like, "Hey, I'm a recent subscriber," and we'll shout you out in the next episode.
Yeah.
Which will be Thursday. So yeah, you got 2 days. Get her done. Eli, Callahan wants to know your Todd theory, and then we'll finish. Let's wrap up this episode and then we'll do the Todd theory.
Okay.
Okay, so this episode ends with the gala, which is really surprising because we thought it was going to end, and it ends with basically Jen getting not doxxed, but sort of hit with like revenge porn in a sense. Even though she's done nothing to these people, she gets basically outed by intelligentsia.
Yeah.
But also, what's interesting to me is that did we see who was with her in the sex tape?
It was Josh.
It was Josh. Yeah, that's who I thought it was. I was gonna like, that's not Matt. It didn't look like him.
No, that was Josh, because we saw Josh copy over the phone afterwards and text the Hulk King. This Hulk King character, whoever he is. I have my ideas. I will share them when we get to the Todd theory.
He's Mephisto.
Anyway.
But no, all jokes aside, there was a lot of people that said they didn't really get this. Ironically, they were all men. Big shocker. But yeah, revenge porn is a real thing, and it's terrible, and it's awful. And if you are a young, impressionable person watching this, don't do it. If you do, you're a dickhead, and you deserve to have your balls squashed. And for some reason, if you're a lady and you do it, you deserve to have your lady ball squashed.
Don't do it. It's a shitty thing.
For real. Deadass. All right. All jokes aside.
Hit with the bonk stick.
More than the bonk stick. You get hit with charges because that is a crime.
It is.
Especially if you are a minor. Remember that. Remember what Bruce told in episode.
We absolutely can't let the blood get out. Or
people are going to be after you now. Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's definitely coming up.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's people have said that this show hasn't been contributing to an overarching plot. And I did forget about that.
Yes, when people start to see it as a monster, it never goes away. And that's at the very end where she kind of like, rages out because rightfully shows she's angry.
Right. And I mean, she just rips into the screen.
I would be very upset of that too. I I would be angry if that happened to me, and I'm a man. Can only imagine what that would do for somebody else. So, but yeah, that's very true. I definitely think we're gonna see more of that concept come to life. The people seeing her as a monster, especially at the end where we see Department of Damage Control people show up with weapons aimed at Jen,
Yeah, they were also there so quickly. Like she
which
hadn't like hulked out for more than a couple seconds.
well, she was there in her Gen. She wasn't there in her Gen form. She went there in her She-Hulk form the whole time.
Right, but you know,
So it makes me wonder if Damage Control's been watching her the whole time,
could be
waiting for a moment to get her.
like they just kind of had a squad on standby.
I think so. I think that's going to get revealed in this episode. Exactly. I think they were already there.
Yeah. Speaking of episodes, next one's the finale.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this
Mhm.
show ends. So I want to talk. I want
I'm
to
excited
get
to
to your
see how
Todd
season
theory.
1 of this show ends.
Absolutely. So I want to get to your Todd theory, but I want to address
Okay.
something that just reminded me that was brought up on TikTok. So
Mhm.
somebody asked a question about, why is She-Hulk different from, or some, they were comparing She-Hulk and Loki. And what was interesting to me is that they're like, well, the person said part of the reason She-Hulk is catching negative reception while Loki was always, overwhelmingly positive was because Loki did something big every single episode to advance the
Mhm.
plot. And to that person, I thought about making a response video and I kind of just said, nah, I didn't want to deal with it. But here's the thing. You are comparing apples and oranges. Yes, they are fruit, but you are comparing a heavily serialized show to an episodic show.
Mhm.
That would be like comparing SpongeBob to Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You are comparing two very different shows. Yes, they are superhero shows.
Mhm.
Or even less, we'll say SpongeBob. We'll say like Rick and Morty to Breaking Bad. Because we have one that's a very episodic show that every now and then dabbles in more serious concepts, but still
Mhm.
remains fairly free and flowy and episodic. I've
Yeah.
been saying this since the beginning is that this is an episodic show and people want serialized because the MCU shows have always been serialized.
Mhm.
So people don't
And
realize that we are breaking that formula. This is not a serialized show. It is episodic. And I think people need to remember that going
mhm.
into this show and critiquing this show because people are like, oh, it's, you know. So it's
We
just
have a lot
interesting to
of
see. But
relatively
anyway,
self-contained episodes, and I thoroughly enjoy that.
absolutely. But which I think it serves the overall part of the story because what's
Mhm.
the story about? The story is about Jen trying to live her life as She-Hulk,
Mhm.
where she has to merge those two sides of her, where before she never had to. She could just be Jen, the attorney, do her thing. But now she has to navigate between being Jen and being She-Hulk. 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 Excuse me.
New Hulk just dropped.
Yeah. New Hulk
Can I
just
get to my
New
Todd theory
Hulk
now?
just
I've sat patiently
absolutely.
for 12 minutes.
I'm ready. I'm ready
Anyway,
for the Todd theory. Let's hear it.
Todd theory. So, a lot of people, or some people evidently, are theorizing that Todd is our main villain for the series. I don't think that's true. I believe that the main villain for this series will be revealed to be the leader. I believe this is how we set up for the leader for something larger. I think Todd is working for the leader. Because, obviously we've seen that he has some level of monetary influence. And the leader, last time we saw him, was, well, an Incredible Hulk. For something big, you need funding. For funding, sometimes you need rich assholes. Take, for example, Ian Quinn in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was a rich asshole, and he did his job spectacularly. Here, Todd could be our rich asshole role. He joins up with the leader because he wants a way to bag She-Hulk. And the leader's like, oh, of course, I can give you whatever it is that you want. You just have to do this for me. Well, then leader is like, on second thought, we're going to kill She-Hulk. And he's like, wait, no, that's not what I wanted. And he's like, sorry, this was part of the plan, just like you were, and essentially plays Todd because, well, it's the leader.
Also, I think I like that theory because I would definitely agree that Todd is sort of that useful idiot type character. I mean, we've seen that multiple times in this show. That Todd is not the brightest bulb in the box. He is definitely
No.
that useful idiot that somebody like the leader could definitely manipulate. So I'm very excited to see where this show ends. I'm excited to see the finale, and I am happy that once it's over, we can get a little bit of a break from all the people being assholes about it. So, that being
I'm
said,
not gonna lie, I like Daredevil, but there's some Daredevil fans who have become my enemy within the past couple weeks. I've been fighting through the trenches here, man.
Me too. Me too.
They need to chill.
Also, here's also another thing I want to talk about with Daredevil fans. So like I mentioned earlier, I had a video that got over 20,000 views on TikTok. I sent it to Eli. I didn't post it on Instagram because I was like, I don't think it'll do that well. So I didn't want to bother with it. 20,000 views on TikTok later, I got multiple comments of it's me in the mirror pointing at myself. And multiple people said, oh, you shouldn't be facing the mirror because, Daredevil is blind. Ha ha ha. I'm like, listen, I don't want to make a big fuss out of it because, it's not my fight, but hey, don't be fucking ableist. Don't make blind people the butt of your joke. Like, just don't. People are like, why would you need a mirror? I didn't even engage with people like that. So don't be a dickhead. Like, yes, Daredevil is blind. He would not have a use for a mirror. But I have a fucking mirror in my apartment and I wanted to film the video that way. Leave it
I
alone.
have his alarm clock.
You have Daredevil's alarm clock?
Yeah, I have his alarm clock. The little one that clicks and talks to you.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think that pretty much covers it. I'm very excited to see Echo, and I'm very excited to see Born Again. So looking forward to both of those shows and seeing our boy back again.
Is it news and rumors time?
It is news and rumors time. So there is a lot that we missed. I wanna run through the few that I definitely know of.
Okay.
So biggest one is so we got a Tales of the Jedi poster.
Yep.
Looks cool. That's all I really gotta say about that. We got trailers for Black Adam and Wakanda Forever. So yep, very excited to see Wakanda Forever. It's gonna be amazing. Also very excited to see the hierarchy of power in the DC universe change forever. So excited. But also, speaking of hierarchy of power, Dwayne The Rock Johnson did a live recently where he was talking about Black Adam, hyping the movie up like he does. But there's something interesting he said. He said Black Adam is the most powerful character on the planet. And then he said, yeah, from the planet, kind of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So, rumors had been speculating that we could, in fact, see Superman return in Black Adam.
It's funny you mentioned that.
So,
real funny you mentioned that.
Alrighty. And then let me think, what else is there? Because there was something else. Crap. I think that's it right now. I'll remember something in a little bit. Alright, Eli, hit us with it.
All right, my first one is about our Queen Elizabeth Olsen. Supposedly, Elizabeth Olsen about to begin filming a new movie, details of which are currently under wraps. Quote, the director doesn't want to make an announcement about it, comma, so it's just ellipses, end quote. Now, it's not clarified if this is a Scarlet Witch project or if it's not Marvel related, because she's done some non-Marvel related stuff recently. It's good. I like to see that. I like to see that people aren't just chained specifically to Marvel stuff.
Me too.
But that being said, we have big news on big potential Thunderbolts news. In that, with, we know that obviously our original what is it? Our original Thaddeus Ross for the Thunderbolts has passed away. You know this. I'm terribly sorry. I'm forgetting his name. Supposedly, Harrison Ford was going to be announced as the new Thaddeus Ross for the Thunderbolts at D23. And Callahan and I were talking about this the other day because, one, why we don't know if we want Thaddeus Ross to be replaced, but at the same time, we were thinking, why wouldn't they have not just gone with Harrison Ford in the beginning if they were going to do that? And we thought back to when Thaddeus Ross first appeared in the MCU, which was 2008. Do you know what was happening in 2008?
What?
Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was releasing. Man was busy. So it makes sense that they didn't use him then. And
William Hurt. Yes. Yeah, shout out to William Hurt. He was a great actor and recurring character in the MCU for sure.
Absolutely loved his work. Moving on next. Rumor, despite reports of schedule conflicts, Kristen Ritter may still appear in Born Again. For those who don't remember, that is Jessica Jones, just in a much smaller role than was originally intended. This would mean that we could then potentially get Punisher and Jessica Jones back in.
Yes, there was some very interesting people in the rumored cast to return for. It's one of those things where you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Speaking of the Netflix series, oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying it's a lot of these rumors, especially when it comes to like Born Again and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love to see Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, even Danny Rand, the immortal Iron Fist protector of Kunlun. I would like to see him back.
Did you not mean Danny Rand with a glow stick for a hand?
So I do have to say, I'm gonna say it. I would like to see a Heroes for Hire show.
I would like to see Heroes for Hire. I want to see them bring in.
It would be very fun to see a Heroes for Hire show. But yes, it would be nice to see both of them come back. It also would be super interesting to see the return of John Bernthal's Punisher. But just remember to take it with a grain of salt. Nothing's been confirmed yet, so we can't say yes or no on that. So just remember, these are very much in the rumors category of the news and rumors. But that being said, it's still exciting if it happens.
Speaking of the immortal Iron Fist, protector of Kunlun, apparently, Marvel wants a more ambitious, higher budget Iron Fist, bringing it closer to the run style of Ed Brubaker and Matt Fraction. While I don't know much about those run styles, at one point in time, the initial plans to bring that character in was for them to be present in the second Shang-Chi movie. Which could be interesting.
That would be cool to see. I would love to see Danny Rand show up in Shang-Chi too.
I feel like that would be cool. But next up we have, let's see. We have Mandalorian news. It's been a while since we've gotten anything on the Mandalorian.
We have. Do tell.
Pedro Pascal and Rick, apologies if I butcher this name, Famuyiwa?
Fukuhara?
No. But anyway, they've addressed if the Mandalorian series will end with the movie. Pascal said, I'll answer for him. Yes, he wants to, and that's a great idea. And if it isn't a conversation already, then it will be after today.
I
So.
love Pedro. Pedro knows he's got weight at Star Wars now, and he's throwing it around.
He's throwing it around, and I love it. Love it. Moon Knight and X-Men 97 writer Bo DeMaio is set to rewrite the entire Blade script from scratch. After impressing Kevin Feige and other execs with his work on Moon Knight and the upcoming X-Men 97, Bo DeMaio is rewriting the entire Blade script from scratch. This news comes days after director Basim Tariq was fired from the project. This also lines up with the rumors of Mahershala Ali being unhappy with the current rendition of the script, which has been through several rewrites before now. Side note, after seeing Werewolf by Night and just what Michael Giacchino can do with the supernatural side of the MCU, I'd love to see him direct. They're hurting for a director. Bring the man in.
Wait, who directed it?
The guy who did all of the music for Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies, Michael Giacchino. Michael Giacchino. Sorry.
Holy moly! I didn't realize he was a director.
Man's got talent. Let me tell you.
All right. Yep. I'm watching Werewolf by Night. Well,
good.
Maybe. We'll see.
Good.
We'll see.
Yes, you are. Maybe not tonight, but you will before Tuesday.
Film Daredevil stuff.
You can film Daredevil and watch Werewolf by Night.
No, I won't. Because I have to focus on one or the other. It's not how my brain works.
We got a big rumor that Robert Downey Jr. might be returning to voice Tony Stark in What If Season 2.
Okay.
That could be kind of lit. Another rumor. Tatiana Maslany will return as She-Hulk in Captain America New World Order, which this tracks for rumors of not rumors, now confirmed that the leader is going to be our big bad for that villain or movie.
Again, Marvel, please. I'm begging you. I'm getting on my knees. I'll get down on my knees, Marvel. I'll do what I gotta do. Change that name, please. I'm begging you. Change that name.
Some more news. We have our first photo of Deadpool's MCU suit, supposedly. I don't know how I feel about it. The OG suit was pretty great.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's one of those cases of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Is this from an official source?
I don't know. I just unsaved the post. This is a supposed look.
Yeah, I gotta say, if that's official, don't do it.
Don't do it.
If it's like a Boss Logic edit or something like that,
could be.
That one ain't hitting. The Daredevil ones he made were great. The ones of him remixing the Daredevil suit to be like red and like black. Now that would be cool. But it definitely has a fan art vibe. A1, I definitely agree with that. It does kind of have like a fan art vibe. So let's fingers crossed that is not the suit, and they just stick with the one from the movie. They already have the suit. They don't have to make a new one.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with A1 Links on this one. It looks like fan art, but I found a thing and I figured I'd show it to you guys. See what you think at the very least.
Yeah, put the budget into something other than the suit. We got plenty of suits.
Yeah. MCU times. Marvel wants to make a Groot Planet X movie, according to Vin Diesel. If you don't know, Planet X is where Groot is from. So we might be seeing more Groot soon. Heck, I mean, sometimes the MCU projects that we didn't ask for hit real hard, like Werewolf by Night. Speaking of Werewolf by Night is our current only MCU special presentation. And with the popularity that it has attracted, reportedly, Disney Plus is scrapping some upcoming MCU shows in favor of turning them into these special presentations, which are an excellent way to introduce these characters in a way that doesn't necessarily draw them out over 6 episodes. You can tell these very isolated, self-contained stories.
Isn't it kind of just like a short film?
It's an hour.
Yeah, like a short film. Yeah. I mean, considering Marvel films are only getting longer.
Well,
it's a short film.
Sometimes. And then you have
And
stuff
then you
like,
got Love and Thunder.
yep.
Oof. I
That
like
being
that
said,
movie.
I did like that movie, but it was very short. Um,
If I Am Groot with subtitles. No, 2 hours of I Am Groot with no subtitles.
no subtitles. I mean, the Minions movie exists, so
Hey, listen, don't be dissing the Minions now. My grandmother loves their memes.
okay. S I have news about Spider-Man 4. So recently, Joey, is it Batalon? The guy who plays Ned was like, "Oh, I'm not super psyched about them, releasing another Spider-Man anytime soon." That being said, apparently Marvel Studios and Sony are reportedly eyeing a July 12th, 2024 release date for Spider-Man 4. So there's that.
Listen, Marvel, you had best listen to the CEO of Sex, Ned Leeds, the certified CEO of Sex. If he says no, don't do it. I'm just saying, Ned Leeds Ned Leeds walked by watching porn in the school library, so Daredevil and She-Hulk could fuck. Okay, let's just call it like it is. Ned Leeds, certified CEO of Sex. You cannot tell me otherwise. Nah, Don Cheadle's gonna push for theatrical. You don't Disney Plus Don Cheadle.
No, because apparently it is getting set for a theatrical release. Like it's getting remade as a movie. The series has been scrapped. Armor Wars is becoming a movie.
Yay!
Yeah.
Drop
And
my
finally, we have a list of delays. We got 6 delayed Marvel films.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Blade has been pushed back to September 6th, 2024.
Makes sense.
Deadpool 3 has been pushed to November 8th, 2024. Fantastic Four has been pushed to February 14th, 2025. Untitled Marvel movie has been pushed to November 7th, 2025. Avengers Secret Wars has been pushed to May 1st, 2026. And removed Untitled Marvel previously May 1st, 2026. Now just doesn't have a release date. And that is news and rumors. And I believe that is everything that we've got. Do we have any final parting words before I finally get to go to bed?
Let's see. Any final parting words? That's a tough one.
This was
Remember,
a great
kids.
episode.
This was a great episode. We're happy to be back.
Mm-hmm.
If my
We took a
voice
little
sounds,
break.
yep. If my voice sounds a little bit off, for those who are unaware, I am working as a scare actor at a haunted house.
You are also
So
using a headset microphone. So you
yeah,
do sound a
that's
little
you,
bit like you're in a Discord chat.
bro. Oh my god. But
Anyway,
yeah. So yeah, my voice is still a little hoarse from all the screaming and yelling and absolutely terrifying people, but it has been a lot of fun. So if you live in my area, which you will know if you check my recent Instagram post,
yeah.
shout out to Southern Screams. It's really cool. So if you're in the area, definitely check it out. Come by, say hi. Don't hold up the line to find me because I had a friend that did that. Don't do
Oh,
that. But if you do come by, just let me know. And be like, hey, that was really cool. And then afterwards, I'll tell you like, oh yeah, I was the guy that jumped out of the place and went, bah, you know, little things.
little
Anyways,
stuff.
so
I can
with
wrap things
that,
up.
have a good night. May the force be with you, and we will see you next time when we go under the helmet.